The forest didn't look cursed, not at first. Under the gray morning sky, it seemed quiet and still, just like any other stretch of woods Hatim had seen in his travels. But the silence, it wasn't the usual kind. It was the silence that presses against your chest like an old hand, heavy and unwelcome. Hatim stood at the edge of the whispering forest, staring into the shadowy green where the villagers had vanished. 24 men, women, and children from Daran, all gone without a sound. Their homes were left as they were, meals half-eaten, chairs tipped over, beds unmade. The stories about the forest had always been there. Old wives' tales told around dying campfires about trees that whispered riddles, about souls trapped in bark and leaf. No one believed them. Until now. Hatim adjusted the sword at his hip and stepped into the woods. It began softly. The wind brushed the leaves, and Hatim thought it was nothing more than the breeze. But then the voices came, faint as sighs in the dark. Solve the riddle, free the lost. He stopped. The voice was thin, childlike, but layered, like many voices speaking through one mouth. Hatim glanced around. The trees were tall and close together, thick roots twisting above the ground like sleeping snakes. The forest floor was littered with dead leaves, and every step seemed too loud. Who speaks? Hatim called out. We are the forest, the voice replied. Answer and walk free, fail and join the roots. Hatim's hand tightened around his sword, but steel was useless here. He could feel it in his bones. This was a place of old magic, the kind that laughed at blades. As Hatim walked deeper, the forest closed in. The air grew colder, thicker. He could see faces now, faint, gray outlines pressed into the bark of trees. Eyes closed, mouths open as if gasping for breath. Souls, trapped. The riddle, Hatim, they whispered. The riddle will free us all. The ground beneath his feet shifted like it was breathing, and the trunks leaned closer. Something was listening. Then in front of him, an ancient oak split open, revealing a hollow darker than pitch. From the hollow came the voice again, louder this time. I have no mouth, yet I speak. I have no legs, yet I travel. I have no life, yet I grow. What am I? Hatim's mind raced. The forest hummed all around him like it was waiting, hungry. No mouth but speaks, he murmured. No legs but travels. No life but grows. The whispering grew frantic, desperate. Faces in the trees turned toward him, hollow eyes pleading. Answer, answer before it takes you too. And suddenly, Hatim felt it, a coldness creeping up from the roots, wrapping around his ankles. The forest was alive. It was trying to pull him down. An echo, Hatim said. The wind died. The forest was utterly still, as if holding its breath. Then the oak groaned and slammed shut. The roots beneath Hatim loosened and withdrew. The faces in the trees faded, their eyes closing with relief. The forest sighed. Correct, it whispered. You may leave, this time. Hatim stumbled back toward the edge of the woods. The trees opened a path for him, but the feeling of cold fingers brushing his back never left. When he finally stepped into daylight, Daran's villagers were there, kneeling on the ground, dazed but alive. Their eyes met Hatim's, and one by one, they wept. But Hatim didn't smile. Not yet, because deep inside the woods, the whispering had started again. And Hatim knew there were more riddles to come.